destination, only translation. Brotherly love, sisterly affection, government neglection, population of American reflection, Kensington fiend, summer obscene, Schuylkill flows green, only cheesesteak lovers still dream. Bland gray pavements, crack and bleed, weed disrupts families, pigs dominate in neighborhoods, change, new domain of inevitable, reconfigure of frame, sunny skies, rivers wind, hills and mills provide historical shine, folks on and in different timelines, give this place blessings and continued rhymes. Brotherly love, guns bang, and teachers pain, mother's shame, drugs with rice, no more sugarcane, moving, trends, blue lights, Kata, the boys, Coltrane, no tame, too much pride to slide to the lane. This is love unknown to some, but I always loved. It's rain, Philly love.
Good morning. Today is November 9th, Wildin' Out Wednesday. You are tuning in to the Urban Conservative. I'm Chaz Neal, revolutionary based in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and we're being brought to you today by the Leon Block Independent Media. With me today, I have Jontel Tolan, co-host, executive producer.
That's right. Grand Rising, everybody. You already know what it is. Post-election day. Per usual, it's Wildin' Out Wednesday, and thank you for having me, Chaz. It's always a pleasure. Let's get it.
Always. You know, over here at the Leon Block Independent Media, we are all about transparency, truth, and accountability. The Urban Conservative is all about the news on the streets, gun violence, crime, politics, and how we solve our community's most hardest issues. How can we change our communities for the better? Let's get back to family, community, foundational roots. Let's make sure nobody gets left behind. Shut up and help. You know, we always do quotes. Good morning. So I thought, you know, we would it's post elections. You know, I see a lot of people celebrating, and I can just sit over here and just shake my head because too many so-called leaders of the movement have been made into celebrities, and their revolutionary fervor destroyed by mass media. They became Hollywood objects and lose identification with the real issues. The task is to transform society. Only the people can do that. And that's what, like, literally, we went and voted last night for celebrities. We didn't go vote for people that look like us anymore. People that say they're boots on the ground. People that say that they're us.
Revolutionaries.
Yeah. Right, because they're not anymore.
Right.
They are part of a system. Only thing that can change the system is the people. That's the only thing. A system can't change a system. How are we going to change a system that's already embedded? And I'm talking about embedded in racism and white supremacy.
Right.
It doesn't matter how we vote. It's 2022, and we're still having our first Black, Latino, Native, whatever race. As long as it ain't white, we're having our first candidate winners in 2022. But y'all act like that's gonna do something. It's not.
Needle in the haystack.
And it
like, I feel like if we want change in that sense, if we're gonna do it with that logic, we need a literal wave of people doing this at the same time.
Because nobody really went out and voted.
It's not that it won't. Right. It's not that it won't work. It's that we need a whole movement of change at the same time.
And you just speak really factual, big facts on that, because how are we supposed to change something? I really hope so too. I don't have honestly, I don't have no faith in it, because I'm going to be 100% right. We've seen a Black president. What did that do? Everybody thought that was going to change. We've had Black Supreme Court justices. What has that done? We've had Black attorney generals. We've had Black police chiefs. What has that done? I want people to really think about that. What has it done?
Other than symbolism.
Right. Or than a token.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Prize.
When I'll tell you like this, if he was somebody that was whoever, I don't know who was the new governor of Maryland, but I will say this: if he was an outspoken Black man, he would not be there. He would not be there. I'm sorry to tell you, but he would not be there. He would not. So that is somebody that has already been embedded into the system, that believes that he can change the system from within. You can't. No, and again, what does that change? So I hope that the first female Black attorney general will finally charge and convict cops. So, and start calling out her white counterparts for the shit that they're doing, because that's what people thought that Attorney General Daniel Cameron was going to do. And what did he do? Or Keith Ellison. Because he did the right thing with two people, with Potter and Chauvin, doesn't mean that they're always going to do the right thing. You can't take up two instances, because I can bring up 30 more. They didn't do nothing. Yeah. Yep. There still is.
It's a nationwide thing.
That's right. Honestly, there's a lot that you haven't even heard of. So, of even, let's say, of like the 646, a lot of us have got our trials over with. There's still some people that are going to trial from the Dante Wright days, the uprising. You still have people going to trials for that. You still have people sitting in prison, or not prison, but jail, from Winston Smith. You still have in the jail from George Floyd. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat this shit for y'all.
What?
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not. I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. You're going to see a mass incarceration like you've never seen before. And a lot of these people, that's the thing of it is. And I'm glad you bring that up, Arden, because I want to say this, and this is the one thing that I have to say, and I know other people have to feel the same way, because listening to Bree yesterday,
right? That put it in perspective for you, didn't it?
Yes, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I always heard you talk about Ricardo Munoz. Right. I never really honestly because I only got one side of it.
Right. I need to sit and break it down for people.
Right. And that's what you ain't never did that, and I ain't never asked either, because I knew that when certain things come up about certain areas, where people live, people don't always like to talk about trauma.
Right.
And I could tell that something was going on with you. I just wasn't sure what it was. Right. And now that I'm seeing everything coming out of Lancaster right now, and I see why, because I'll tell you right now, I didn't know nothing about, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have known about Ricardo.
Wow.
And it's just like even with Soup, man. And this is the thing of why we need independent media, because she is the shit. I don't even know how long me and her have been Facebook friends. But I honestly was the first time I'd ever seen her go live yesterday, but I'm glad that I tuned in.
Yo, she be going in.
Yeah, and it's about educating, because I really wonder the same shit of why they went with a judge trial instead of a jury.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that to me just seemed like it was all a playboy to get other people to do the same thing, and everybody ain't gonna. Yeah, everything that I've read and listening to Bree, I gotta agree with her. Nobody should have went in there and played guilty for shit.
Right.
Nobody, you know what I'm saying? They should have stuck to their guns. Yep. And that's why we see. I don't.
But let me tell you why. We all were disenfranchised.
Right.
It was conquer and divide from the moment that the movement was quashed the second night. They came in, the National Guard and other officers or military-like people that we don't know who exactly they were, but they came in vans like Portland and LA type shit,
right.
SWAT gear, rifles pointed at us, and was just kidnapping niggas and throwing them in the van and then going. So that scared a lot of people away. And then the quote unquote, like Bree said, it wasn't no fucking riot. It was people that came in, destroyed a couple of things, like set a dumpster on fire and smashed a couple of windows, but everything was back to normal the next day.
Right.
But these people, like you said, charged with $1 million bills. Yes, it's correct.
And that's the one thing that was really odd to me about all the uprisings is the way that they put the bails.
Yep.
Because I literally see it where, and I'll even talk to, thank you for pointing that out, Art. I don't even like the ACLU. I like them to a degree, but I really don't think they pick the cases that they want to talk about. It's just like with the NAACP. I just think that a lot of these orgs only work with cases that they know that they're going to win or that they can make money off of. That's just how I feel. That's just my perspective. But it's to see all that, because even for myself, of somebody that has been to jail and who has been denied bail, but yet no charges. They've literally changed the game for us. They were literally violating our rights. I remember of just being out with during the Winston Smith days, during the uprising, being in Uptown, and how the police would literally, they say the cameras don't work, they can't, catch nobody, whatever. But it was funny how their cameras could spotlight protesters, because them motherfuckers would come in hard. They would come in hard. Good morning, Queen. And I really, I know we don't know each other, and I really would love to get you on T or POV, which is point of view. I really want to get into not even so much Lancaster, but that is part of it, because I listened to you yesterday, Queen, and there was another individual that, and I won't say their name, but they're from Ohio, that reached out as well. And I feel like the forces that be, that know that that voting and that camaraderie and unity is gonna, with the people, is gonna be, that is gonna get us over the hump. We need to form together and bring our armies together so that we can reach out, because we all have following. We all have people that believe in us. And we need to gather those people with everybody all over the world, all over the America, so that we can fight, and we can fight together. Because that's the only way we're going to win it. This is the only way we're going to get justice, the only way we're going to get accountability. That's the only way we do this. Mm-hmm. And I want to tell the brother, I heard you, man. I heard you. And I'm telling this right now. I don't want to beef with black men no more. I don't want to beef with black women. Not on no Facebook. I don't want to do that no more. But what I am definitely going to do, if you are in the way of change, if you are in the way of accountability, I'm coming through you. I'm coming through you. There is no, I don't got time for that shit no more. We don't have time no more. We just, everybody said that November 8th, we will, this is the waking moment. Well, today's November 9th. I need to see that waking moment.
Talk about it.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to come to the fucking table no more. What I need is some accountability. What I need is some transparency.
Right.
And actually, it's not just me, because I know there's other people out there that are begging for this, that have been crying for transparency, for truth, for accountability. So all those justice, all you black candidates that before you last night, you were BIPOC and all of a sudden you're black.
Speak on it.
I better see y'all over here. I better see y'all in the areas that the whole vote, you never even came over. The whole election cycle, you never came, but you got the vote. You got the vote. Right. It ain't even, it's fuck the blame game, because that's where we're at right now. We blaming each other. We're blaming the Republicans are blaming the Democrats. The Democrats are blaming the Republicans. You have the community members, instead of taking accountability for our own shit, we want to put it on somebody else.
Yep.
Instead of looking in the mirror and be like, you know what?
That part.
I can blame Joe Biden. Yeah, maybe his policies fucked us.
Oh yeah,
we fucked ourselves even more.
It's still all day fuck Joe Biden, but we still got to take care of ourselves and look at what we're doing to contribute to this. What we're not what we're doing, but what we're not doing.
Right. Yeah. I don't. That's the thing for me is we need to talk about, not even talk about, because that's all we've done for the last 2.5 years. It's just talk. Or the money, they've given us money, but where's the money gone? Because it ain't helping the people. It ain't helping us. It is not helping us.
As we always say,
everybody else around us.
Right.
I just, and you know, while we're talking about ballots and we're talking about elections, there was some things that were in different states last night. You had Louisiana, which still has slavery on the books.
Let's get into it, because that's what today's supposed to be about.
Right. Involuntary servitude.
You sent that to me last night, and part of me was shocked, But then the other half was like, well, at least it's on the ballot. However, this should be something that is that should be alarming to people. And take note of this, everyone, because this is something.
And this is
something we've been talking about.
Right. And as we get into this, I want people, this is another quote from Huey. And he says, you can tell the tree by the fruit it bears. You see it through what the organization is delivering as far as a concrete program. If the tree's fruit sours or grows brackish, then the time has come to chop it down, bury it, and walk over it and plant new seeds. We don't even plant new seeds. We just keep on going over that same garden, hoping and praying that we're going to get a good product out of that. And instead of just starting over, that's insanity to me.
Yeah, it literally is, by definition.
Right. As you look at this, Vermont prohibits slavery. Good job. And look at that. I love that. 89% of the voters. Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
However,
Tennessee, love it. But Oregon, that kind of shocked me. That really shocked me right there.
It is Oregon.
Right.
And outside, like you said with Minnesota, outside of Portland, it's very, very
right. And then you got Alabama. Okay,
look at Louisiana. Look at Louisiana.
That shocked me there.
Look at that. Louisiana Constitutional Amendment 7 election results. Remove constitutional language allowing slavery as punishment. They voted no. They want slavery to remain as law in the Constitution in the state of Louisiana. Let that sink in.
Talk about it.
What'd she say?
Talk about it. Anti-lynching bill took over 200 years, and we still don't even have that.
For real.
I still see stories of black men being lynched every day, but it's not talked about. They say, oh, they committed suicide. But then when the family was like, no, they ain't committing no suicide. They ain't committing no suicide. We out here getting lynched, but people don't want to talk about it. Marquise Martin, Arkansas. KJ Johnson. We see this shit all the time.
Dante Perez Jones on Juneteenth weekend this year.
Right.
Lynched. He was literally hung in a park that sits directly behind a police station, and the cameras point directly to where he was hung. Yet there's no footage. They shut it down, cleaned up the scene within 2 hours, and had a party at that same park and denied footage to the mother. He had no reason to be in that area, had no connections to that area, just went and disappeared. They won't give the phone up. It's very sketchy. But yet here we are, it's 2022 and there's no lynchings. Yes, there is. Right. I was just running down to our co-host Meg last night about how sharecropping still takes place, and there are still descendants of the enslaved African Americans who still live on the same property as their descendants of their former owners. And there's still the same kind of setup going on, and they don't really have any information like that about the outside world, and that they can actually they're taught to think that they don't have any other options when they do. And this contributes to what we're seeing here with Louisiana.
See,
because Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama are predominantly black, but as we saw last night with who took power,
Now,
that's thinking, folks.
Now I sent you something about Minnesota too, and because there was a push. So I want people to know there's been a push in Minnesota to put that on the ballot and do the same thing, because we too here have involuntary servitude as a punishment. And that's why when you put that the Supreme Court doesn't see innocence as enough to overturn a conviction, then we see why that we have the things that we're having in play with incarceration, because of that simple fact of that. First of all, why are we going to sit there and release them when we can make money off of them for free? It's $1 billion business.
Hold on, let me bring up this so people can check this out. However, since 1858, Article 1, Section 2 of the Minnesota Constitution has read, quote, there shall be neither slavery nor involuntary servitude in the state otherwise than as a punishment for a crime of which the party has been convicted. So if you happen to get arrested, they can still enslave you. That is literally what it's saying. Pay attention, people.
Right.
What is considered involuntary servitude? Involuntary servitude or involuntary slavery is a legal and constitutional term for a person laboring against that person's will to benefit another under some form of coercion to which it may constitute slavery.
But we have all these Black Lives Matter people in office. Well, they know that their pockets are getting fat off the backs of who? But they say we man, yeah, because that's people just don't understand it. They don't understand it. Don't understand it, and until we educate ourselves, because we're not going to be freed by going to college and thinking that because we got a doctorate we're smart. That ain't going to do it. That's not going to do it. We have to stand up. We have to understand what our rights are, what our freedoms are. Because honestly, the more that I see it, if you're not scared if you're scared to die, this ain't the fight for you.
Facts.
It's not. This ain't the fight for you. Go home, because you're making it hard for everybody else. Because that shit's
Take a look at that, y'all. This is another way that it's put. Remove slavery as the punishment. Louisiana voted to not remove. Last night. But
see, but if you look at that, right? So modify Constitution to remove slavery as a punishment, with exception for lawful administration of criminal justice. So really, they just reworded it.
They just giving you an excuse to reinforce black codes, essentially.
Right.
To
that's all they were basically did.
These are criminals. These drug dealers and criminals and gangbangers deserve to be locked up, and therefore they're a part of they're a part of the state. They're a responsibility. But no, you have corporations to
hold on, because I want you. We're talking about black codes, and I want people to look at this while this picture is up. Look at the wordage. So modify Constitution to remove, right? Now you look at Oregon's modify Constitution to remove slavery and voluntary servitude as a punishment. People have to look at this. But see, with exception, now if people don't know what an exception is, it's a modification, just like they're modifying it. But see, where the thing with Oregon is to remove. So they were getting rid of it. They were prohibiting it. But now with Louisiana, even though it still didn't pass, it wouldn't have been no difference, because it still would have been there, but only with exceptions. Now, it's just like with the no-knock bill. They keep on saying they're going to prohibit it, but then yet there keeps on being modifications and exceptions. So it's not actually a prohibit. They're not banning something if they're going to modify it. Now, what I like, and now see, I'm glad we're doing this because this is educational, and I guarantee it, if you go back and look at all the other wordage for the measures, the wordage for the ballot question, you'll see that I guarantee it that Louisiana was probably the only one with exceptions. And that should tell people something, because there's black codes that are still out there today and people don't even realize it or even see it.
Yep. Just the idea in itself of black codes has changed. There's black codes all over the country 24/7 that justify why people like you and me get shot every motherfucking day.
Every day. Every day. See, Vermont prohibit slavery. Tennessee remove constitutional language allowing slavery as a punishment. Tennessee. Oregon, we already read. Alabama ratify the recompiled. I don't even know what the hell that even means. Maybe that's something else that has nothing to do with it. But yeah, that's crazy. So I want people to think about that, and we're going to talk about that some more when we come back from the commercial. So we'll be right back following commercial with the Urban Conservative.
I heal. I read tarot cards, and I'm pretty good at that. I do this amazing poetry that I want to bring. I want to develop this workshop and bring the inner child out in women. And I want to heal the world, one woman at a time. I really do. I want to build a sisterhood. I imagined today when I was in the shower that, oh my gosh, if I travel around the world to
Solid ground, solid might. The Leon Block. Solid ground, solid might. Get your boots on the ground and fight. The Leon Block. Freedom. Freedom of press. Media. Journalists. Journalism. Words matter. Leon Block. Unite the classes. All power to the people. The Leon Block. Get in line. Are you looking to advertise your business to a diverse and conscious audience? Are you looking to give back to your community or have your voice heard? We are looking for you. The Leon Block. We want to provide people and small businesses with more traffic while connecting more people from all backgrounds, as well as integrating viewers more into what we do. Community is everything. Will you join us in help building a better life for us all? The Leon Block Independent Media is a grassroots independent media platform by the people seeking to fill the gaps news deserts have created.
Yo, yo, yo.
We back. Now, I want to. Brian makes a good point, and I want to get into that because is there a difference between incarcerate and slavery? Now, incarcerate means to imprison or confine. Now, wasn't that the same way slavery is? You were confined to a plantation. You didn't have cuffs on you, but you were mentally incarcerated because if you ran, what they tell you, they was gonna gun you down and kill you. The same thing that they do in prison.
Yeah, they sound the same to me.
Right. So it's not so much about the words, it's about how the words have progressed over time.
How they're perceived over time and how they're used.
That too. So is there really a difference between incarceration?
Yeah, because
and
there is a difference in the sense of what we think of when we associate those words to different ideas. When we think of slavery, it puts us in a mindset of the transatlantic slave trade in America and someone shackled in chains and being whipped and things being done to them where they can't leave. And it's a mental thing, right? When we think of incarcerate, we think of prison. We think of someone behind bars that can't do anything, that's not doing anything, or just sitting behind bars. That is the idea that society has perpetuated upon our minds. But essentially, they are the same thing when you sit and you think about it.
Right.
What's the difference?
Right.
What is the difference?
That's what I want to know. What is the difference? Because I don't see none. You have in slavery, you had chain gangs. Prison, you have chain gangs. So I don't understand what the difference is. Maybe because the dictionary tells us that it's different, but who gives us the meanings of words? Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that there isn't. I'm saying from my perception is that to me, there isn't any difference between slavery and incarceration. When you break it down into words, there isn't no difference because even out here, we're still enslaved. How am I not an serving involuntary servitude right now? Because I don't have no rights. I'm a free man. I gotta still pay taxes, gotta pay rent. I can't vote though. I gotta be out here living in this bullshit, but I can't vote. So you tell me, how is it that we're not still slaves and incarcerated in a system? The same exact system, just because there's different wordage in there that is supposed to help us. See, the difference is it's a modification with exceptions instead of a prohibit. Instead of them removing it, they modified it. So think about that while everybody over there is celebrating today. While you're celebrating. Yeah, don't nobody want to talk about that though. Don't nobody want to talk about that because how are we not talking about Jaheim McMillan right now? How are we not talking about, which is in Mississippi as well?
Talk about it.
And we're not talking about South Carolina.
Let's not forget Jackson. Let's not forget
Flint, Michigan. Mississippi got a lot going on right now. They got a water crisis. They have churches, black churches are being burned, and they lynched the black boy. If that disasters don't come in threes, shit, and that ain't telling a nigga something.
Talk about it.
Y'all ain't got no drinking water. You can't go to church. And it's in Jackson, Mississippi.
I was just about to say that. You got to be kidding me.
Wow. If that ain't a sign, man, I will tell you right now, I will say this, that we need to pray. And then fuck that, not even pray. Y'all better strap up down there. Them people not down there playing with y'all.
At least 2 of the buildings set ablaze in Jackson were churches. One of them happened to be burnt to the ground, and another one of the fires broke out on fences surrounding the baseball field at Jackson State University, which is an HBCU. Well, no, a historically black public university. And so no injuries have been reported. However, this is, I mean, look at it. It's blatant.
Oh, they ain't even that far from Gulfport to Jackson either.
Nah.
It's 149 miles.
The one fire destroyed the church and everything in it. And the church was 85 years old. The renovations to the building had just been completed in March.
Wow. What Michael Jackson say? They don't really care about us.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows. It shows. I'm gonna tell you.
If anyone has any information, there is a $5,000 reward that will lead to an arrest and arson conviction.
Mm-hmm.
This is via PBS NewsHour.
Man, ain't nobody telling because they don't know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And if they did know anything, they definitely ain't telling me. Because it's, you know, I'm gonna tell you right now, like I've always believed this, right? And when you do the right thing, that shit bites you in the ass. That shit bites you in the ass. And I sent you something. Now I want people to know that this name that we're about to talk about should really bring up at least some kind of that you know who he is, or you at least heard of him. Mike Elliott. Mike Elliott. This was a man that did what a real man for the people would do. And not because we pressured him. We didn't have to go to his house. We didn't have to threaten to protest for him to do the right thing. Unlike Keith Ellison, unlike Governor Walz, this black man actually did the right thing. He fired a bad cop. He got rid of a bad cop. Now, what did the city do to him?
Punished him.
Right. Retaliation. And now here's the thing of it is, you see that April Graves, she was endorsed by the police union. And then you'll scroll down, you'll see Brooklyn Center elect 2, right? So Dan Jerzak, police officer. So now they have, not only is he's a city employee, but he's also in charge. He's a city boss too now.
And he got the second biggest block at 29,
right.
Almost 30%. Almost 30% of the voting population, or the people that voted.
So then you look at the number 1, all 3 of them ran together. So Jerzak, Tanisha, and April all ran together under the Brooklyn Center Police Union, number 82.
Wow.
Yeah, but they don't want to talk about that. So, but they were mad. This is the crazy thing. And people, this is what fucks me up about the movement, right? This is what fucks me up about the movement. Because you'll have people come out and say certain things. They'll, we stand with you. If y'all really stood with the family, you would have let one of them get in. You wouldn't have let 3. So now basically Brooklyn Center Police Department no wonder why they took the fence down. I was wondering because they already knew. They knew they were going to win. They knew they were going to win. They knew they were going to win.
I'm at a loss for words right now. And like in my head, there's things I want to say. I just don't know how to get it out. It's like this is everything is calculated with them, and they knew when 2020 happened how to flip that. And
They definitely did.
They
definitely did.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
Like, okay.
It backfired on us. It literally did, man. Like everything that we were out here fighting for. And that's what I'm pissed off about. Because this is somebody that's speaking right now, Chaz Lawrence Neal. Is somebody that was out in Brooklyn Center and that was fighting, and to see all of what's happened out there and seeing that people were asking for help. Because there was so much more. You know, I was a part of a committee in Brooklyn Center to strong mayor. I was a part of a committee to change the charter, the city charter, so that it wouldn't be where the mayor could just do head control, hire, fire, not just be the token it is. Because the mayor actually, if you look at and they just honestly, after last night, even took more power from the mayor. So it's really, we have to educate ourselves. We definitely have to educate ourselves because people were so scared of this strong mayor amendment, and there was no reason to be. You know, this is all what democracy is about. Because I'll tell you one thing of somebody that is really been behind of changing city charters, because it's time. And I really want to stay away from kind of the politics at this point, really, because I see it doesn't really help. But I am gonna definitely not steer away from self-sufficiency and helping my people. And politics plays a part in that, but I'm definitely the Democrat Republican shit, that's over for me. Because I see neither party cares. And it's time for us to start taking care of each other, because neither one of the parties is really going to help us succeed and get to where we need to be. The only way that we do that is find community. Not a neighborhood, but a community. They didn't want us to have Black Wall Street. So let's make our own Black Wall Street again. They don't want us to really have Black colleges, because them ain't Black colleges. Those were founded by white men. By white men. Because you guys got to remember, we couldn't read. Not saying that some people couldn't, but that was a death sentence. Reading and writing was a death sentence. And people don't even understand that today, and why the fight, because I'll say it like this. As somebody that has been incarcerated, I learned more sitting in a 6x6, 6x10, whatever the hell the size of the cell is, than I did in school about history. Because I didn't get trained by the school system like other kids. And when I did concentrate on learning, my mind was cluttered and lacked by the programming of the system. Now, does not that not make sense? Because they tell us we're product of our environment. But how, when they bring that product into our environment?
Talk about it.
So you can call me a product of my environment. It's because you put that product in my environment. And there isn't no such thing as Black on Black violence.
I wanted to give some breaking news really quick.
Yo.
Brittany Griner is being transferred to a Russian penal colony, according to her legal team. The transfer started on Friday, and her team currently does not have information on her whereabouts. Quote, our primary concern continues to be Brittany Griner's health and well-being, end quote, according to Brittany Griner's agent in a statement. This is crazy. So she's in the process of being moved. Her transfer from a detention center began on Friday. They have not been given any information on the location or the final destination. They apparently will be notified via mail when she arrives. Via mail.
Ooh, wee. That's crazy.
Come on, y'all. What are you doing?
Wee. Damn.
According to Jean-Pierre, the U.S. and quote, the U.S. government is unwavering in its commitment to its work on behalf of Brittany and other Americans detained in Russia, including fellow wrongful detainee Paul Whelan. She added. Now, why is it that we have to add other people? And I'm not discrediting anyone else, but like I'm talking about Brittany Griner, and other people are brought into it, and it's like, why does she always have to be diminished?
Man, so this just came across my Twitter timeline that the DFL party flipped the Minnesota Senate and held both the Minnesota House and Governor's office. We won a trifecta. Now we deliver for Minnesotans. So you deliver. So I hope you're going to legalize weed. Recreational weed. I hope that you're going to free everybody that's locked up. I hope that you're going to convict these killer cops, which I doubt, since y'all got the trifecta. Wow. This is crazy. Let's see how much this shit really changes, because there's nothing they can say that the Republicans are stopping them now. Oh my Lord. Somebody said codify row. I think you gotta do that federally. This is crazy. Wow. Now legalize weed, give voters the option to submit ballot initiatives, and lower property taxes. I voted for walls on cannabis. I did my part. Now it's time for y'all to do yours. Legalize it. Damn. Codify row. Legalize marijuana. Pass meaningful gun control. Reform education funding. Though nowhere in these motherfuckers do I see anything about public safety. Nothing about public safety. I see sports, gambling, and weed. Health, women's health, climate justice. I honestly see a couple of I see weed, fireworks, abortion. Oh God. I'm done. I don't see nothing about no fucking public safety. Nothing. Nothing about our kids' education.
Recreation.
Nothing about the homelessness.
Mental health. Yes, homelessness.
About mental health, none of that. About the overdoses. No. They just automatically, oh no, well, we ain't gonna talk about that no more. We won. Crazy as hell to me. Crazy. Damn. See, I gotta agree with this one. No black outreach. They didn't even try for a couple of percentage points around the edges. Republicans counted on hatred of Democrats. They lost their bet. I gotta agree with that. I definitely gotta agree with that. For somebody that was rocking behind some Republican candidates that I felt like could make change, whatever. They really didn't come around the areas that they should have, because when you look at these districts, especially the black, we didn't go out and vote. So we can't sit here and complain anymore. I couldn't vote, because if I could, I would have yesterday. But I couldn't vote because I'm a felon. So I wasn't allowed to vote. I wasn't able to vote. And that's one thing that I do want to change. And I want to go to legislation. And that's one thing that I will be fighting for next year, legislative session. So just because maybe this election cycle didn't go the way that I wanted it to go, doesn't mean that I'm just going to stop fighting. I'm just going to fight harder, because of the simple fact of I have these people that say they're for the people in office. So there shouldn't be no reasons why we can't get anything done to help the people, because they all say they're for the people. So anything you want to close out with today, Jontel?
Now that it's post-election day, what are your plans, people? What actions are you going to take other than circling in a little circle, coloring within the lines? How are you going to reach outside of your means mentally to take part maybe in your community? How are you going to meetings? Are you engaging with your fellow neighbor? Do you even know your neighbor?
Right.
Why, if you don't? So really take what you went to do at the ballots and apply it to your everyday life.
Definitely. So until next time, meditate through the pain and celebrate the ties that bond, liberate our people, and educate our youth so we can stop the bloodshed. Be the change. Win or fail, freedom or jail, heaven or hell, wish me well.
Be blessed, y'all.